Hello, my name is Dr. Ibrahim Khan. I'm a second-year resident with Reed Health. Wanted to talk to you a little bit today about some basic lifestyle modifications that you can do to lose weight. A lot of people are trying to lose weight, and just starting with some very, very basic lifestyle modifications can be incredibly helpful in doing that. This video is going to center around some diet modifications and some exercise modifications. 80% of weight loss is diet modification, and the other 20 is working out. We used to think that that was kind of flipped, and we've now learned with current research that that's actually not true. So most of it is going to be diet control. So that's what we're going to address mainly in this video. You want to, generally speaking, before we start, center around slow, small changes that you can consistently make and keep. Not necessarily modifying your diet crazy and changing the whole thing, and then you're not going to be able to keep it because it's kind of an unsustainable diet that is very difficult to keep in the first place. So we'll just talk about a few things. First of all, first principle I talk about is called flipping the triangle. The second one is about generally making better choices. And the third one is about how to eat in terms of times of day, particularly close to night. So the first one, flipping the triangle. So most of us, if you look at like a triangle shape, and I borrowed one of my kids' toys, obviously, if you look at like this is time of day, you have a really kind of a small breakfast at this top part of the triangle, and the middle part of the triangle is this kind of medium-sized lunch, and then the bottom part of your day is this very, very large dinner. That's what most people have. They have big, big dinner, almost no breakfast, and they have some kind of lunch because that's their schedule. You want to actually flip that because you want the most amount of your calories at the beginning of the day. So you actually want a big, big breakfast, you want a middle-sized lunch, and you want a very, very small dinner. Reason being, the breakfast, getting a lot of calories at the beginning of the day will give you a chance to burn those off because you're active throughout the day. And a large dinner, you're just going to store all of that as fat anyway. So that's the first kind of thing. Now, a lot of people say, well, how do I do that? I'm not hungry for breakfast at all. My advice to you is that the first time you kind of wean down how much you're having for dinner, and then you want to look at the night period as like, okay, I'm fasting during the night. I'm just not eating during the night. You'll be hungry for breakfast. That's kind of a strategy that I employed myself to lose the first 50 pounds that I did. I'm still on my own weight loss journey, so I'm there with you. But when I started decreasing my suppers, the size of the supper, I found that I was able to basically have a larger breakfast in the morning. So that's the first thing, flipping the triangle. Second thing, make healthier choices. So instead of reaching for that bag of chips or reaching for a cake or whatever, I would reach for instead a healthy snack like carrots, broccoli. These things are going to satisfy you more. Even when it comes to a meal, if you go for, let's say, McDonald's, high amount of calories, but you're hungry right after because your body doesn't get what it needs. As opposed to that, if you have like a baked, kind of chicken meal with vegetables, not nearly as many calories, but you're satisfied more. It's because with more processed foods, you are hungrier, and that's not necessarily the best thing. You're going to have more and more calories. With lower processed, quote unquote, real foods, you're going to be more satisfied. So you want to have more real foods. Meats, chicken is a great example of that. Fruits and vegetables, emphasis on the vegetables. I think that's going to be a very, very good thing to kind of satisfy your appetite, give you the calories you want, but not excessively go to calories. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of companies, the processed food, they design it so that you actually crave more even after you've done it. So there's apples and bananas and other kind of quote unquote real foods. They don't do that. You're usually satisfied after that. So making just a choice of a simple kind of real food, a less processed food, as opposed to a processed, heavily processed commercial food is going to be a great, great choice for you. The second thing I'd like to talk about is timings. The third thing is timing. So basically, you want to stop eating 3 hours before you go to sleep. Again, anything you eat in that time close to bedtime, you're basically going to store as fat. The body's very efficient. It's not going to take all that time to digest things without storing it somewhere and saying, okay, we're going to use this a little later. So definitely stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. You can still have water. I would not have anything high calorie. In fact, just general principle, stay away from liquid calories. It's really easy to get a ton of calories in a small amount of time with heavily sugary drinks. So high calorie drinks you want to kind of avoid. But 3 hours before bed, stop eating. And start your kind of fasting. It doesn't take that many calories to sustain you throughout the night, roughly 300. So if you have a really high calorie meal, you're going to burn 300, and then the rest, whatever 1,000 or even more, you're just going to store as straight fat. Also try and get a good night's sleep in terms of timing. The more sleep you get, the better your appetite control. When you are sleep deprived, you preferentially crave carbs and you preferentially crave fat. So that's not going to be a good thing when it comes to your weight loss goals. So those are the diet modifications. The last thing I'd like to talk to you about is weight loss. So weight loss is a great way to augment your diet and help you lose weight. First thing I'd like to recommend is weight resistance workouts. So when you have a weight resistance workout, you don't necessarily have to build muscle. You can just do it to tone. But you burn fat for 3 days after that workout, which is fantastic because muscles, when you're generating those muscles, it's a very kind of heavy process when it comes to your body's demands. The other thing is it increases your basal metabolic rate. So when you do weight resistance workouts, your basal rate in which you're burning calories, because muscles are much more hungry than fats, you can think of it that way, or fatty tissues, is going to be much higher. So you're going to be idling at a speed where you're going to be burning more fat naturally, and you're going to burn fat 3 days after that workout. So it's a great way to kind of add to your weight loss strategy. Cardiovascular workouts burn fat for 24 hours afterwards, but they increase your longevity lifespan. So you need both. You need cardio and a weight resistance workout to kind of add to your weight loss goals. So those are sort of the basic changes that you can make just starting diet modification, just starting some kind of exercise program. Doing something is always better than doing nothing. So those are sort of the intro steps that you can take to try and kind of change how you approach weight. I would also do a daily weight. If that's too much for you, maybe a weekly weight. Some way you need to track it though, to keep yourself accountable.